Okay, well, congratulations. You made it through another week, and that's always good news. Well, you got all your Christmas shopping done? You want to think about that. We're going to have a guest coming up this week that'll be very interested in telling you what you should buy for Christmas. Mr. Mike Adry is going to be one of our guests this week. But right now, welcome to Russ Gibb at Random on Group W Cable, jumping up and down, doing his thing. And have I got a guest for you today? Young lady from Sweden. That's right, a foreign exchange student, Gunilla Reithner, I want to get that correct. And Gunilla will be talking to us a little bit about the American Field Service Program that brings young students from all over the world here to the United States, and particularly right here to good old Dearborn, Michigan. Well, what have you been up to? You've survived. That's always an important thing to do, you know, as you go through life, is to survive. And I want to thank the people that have taken the time, not only to survive, but to send me some little Christmas card greetings here. And I got an interesting card this other morning, and I just thought the drawing was sort of neat. It's from Jacobson's, and it's a little Santa Claus. Is that a Santa Claus mouse? I guess there's mice in the North Pole, and yeah, that's the kind of art that my cameraman, Dave Mayer, likes to do. He's the one that always draws little Captain Bondage and things like that on all my drawings. He's the only cameraman in the world that has a motorcycle jacket, and he has a Marlon Brando hat, because the cameras are a little bit like motorcycles, and he drives the camera like that, doing whatever he's doing. And we also have a very distinguished personage in the studio today, Margaret Ann Berenson. Now, Margaret Ann is our program director. She's the star, and she's the lady that takes care of all the programming here on Group W. So welcome, Margaret Ann. She's got on her green sweater, beautiful black hair, and I forgot to tell you that she also is in charge of our parties here. And so she was in this morning testing some of the spirits for Christmas. So not only does her green sweater look neat, but her little red nose looks sort of neat, jumping over there. Oh, and we also have a great card from Hanky Hank. Spoonerisms are coming out today. Happy Hank the Clown. This is his Christmas card. He designs his envelope, and we haven't even opened up the card yet. We'll do that on another show. But look at the work, the artwork that the guy put on his Christmas card. Speaking of designing Christmas cards, next week we're also going to have a lady on who designs personalized Christmas cards, as well as little greeting cards. And for any occasion, you call up this lady, and I think it's for around $2. She designs you a Christmas card. Now, you can't beat that. And so she'll be an interesting lady, too. Anyway, jumping up and down, Uncle Russ Gibb here. And if you'd like to join us and you'd like to send in a card to express your opinion or, you know, what's on your mind, you can do so by writing Russ Gibb at Random, Group W Cable, Mercantile Drive, Dearborn, Michigan. And you can do that, and we'll get your letters. By the way, we've had a lot of requests for people have been sending in for Cleo, you know, Cleo the astrologer. And I had to chuckle at this one note that came in the other day. This lady doesn't want us to use her name, but she said something that just is fascinating to me. It says, "Dear Russ, can you please have Cleo do a reading for me?" And she gives the date and place of birth, and she said, "I was 7 months premature." 7 months premature? I can hardly believe that, but when we get the lady here and we'll get Cleo here, we'll ask her what happens if you're 7 months premature. Can you imagine a baby 7? It can't be that. Must be 7 weeks. 7 weeks, not 7 months. But anyway, that's how you do it here. I see where the schools, by the way, are having some problems with rowdies in the schools. And you know, that's easily solved. Just get tough with it. You don't have to have any course in sociology to understand what you do with kids that are misbehaving. You get a little bit tough. That's the name of the game. And evidently a teacher out in Virginia got so disgusted the other month that she took one of her students to court. She literally took the kid to court because he evidently came into class late, stood up, got rowdy, back-talked the teacher, and then finally shoved her with his shoulder. And evidently she took it down to the administrators. And, you know, many administrators in public schools, particularly today, they don't want to make any waves because there's always the the idea or the concept of millage hanging in the background. So we don't want to create any waves. So we sort of brush this type of student misbehavior under the, under the rug. Well, this lady was having none of it, this teacher. She took the youngster to court. He was fined, I think $150, plus he was sentenced to 6 months in the clink. And the judge said, no more of that, young man. And evidently this kid was no longer surly. They said he looked like a pretty cowed young man when he heard that sentence coming down from that judge. That was in Virginia. I don't know if we'd be as lucky here in Michigan. Some of our judges have been reading too much sociology, and their idea is that you can reform everybody, that everybody can be reformed, and that you don't want to send anybody to jail. Somewhere along the line, we lost out on the old idea of jails. You know, jails in the old days were places for punishment. But somewhere along the line, the Quakers got into the line, and we developed in this country a concept called penitentiaries. Now, understand there's a difference between a jail and a penitentiary. A jail is an unpleasant place. A penitentiary, according to the Quaker philosophy, was a place where people could do penance and reform. And that's the mentality that is in our prison system today. The idea that you can reform people. So we have country club prisons. Some of these prisons have even their own golf courses. I think maybe we ought to go back. We ought to go back to the old days where we had jails, places that were unpleasant. Well, look, what do you think? After all, the name of the game is your opinion. So if you disagree, come on down to the show and mouth off. If I'm incorrect in my philosophy, then show me where I'm wrong, and I'm willing to change. That's the name of the game. Hey, I'm going to take a break for some commercials, then we'll be right back with my guest, Gunilla Reithner from Sweden. Hang in there. My guest today is a young lady, a foreign exchange student, Gunilla Reithner from Sweden. And Gunilla, welcome to Dearborn, Michigan, and Group W Cable.
Thank you.
Gunilla, how old a young person are you?
I'm 18.
18, and you are now a foreign exchange student at
Dearborn High.
Dearborn High. How did you get into the program?
Oh, I have friends that have been over, and I applied for it.
You mean people in Sweden?
Yes, my friends over in Sweden. Some of them.
And you applied through the American Field Service?
Yes.
What was your impression of America before you came here?
Oh, I don't know. People eating hamburgers all the time, and
People eating hamburgers all the time?
yes, and a lot of junk food. And
Junk food. What's wrong with junk food? There's a lot of preservatives in there. And if they preserve food, wouldn't they preserve the person?
No,
You don't believe that?
no.
Well, then, if we were eating junk food, why would you want to come here? Why not go to Soviet Union or something?
Well, it's more here than junk food, I think. Also, there's a lot of good things too.
Oh, there's some good things over here.
Yes.
Tell me, what is the actual selection process? What do you have to do to become a foreign exchange student?
Okay, first you have to write an application form in Swedish,
Okay.
and then they interview you in Swedish.
Now, who are they?
They are all AFSers that work.
Old AFSers.
Well, not old. I mean, they have been here. They
I
are
see.
around 20,
Okay.
and they talk to you. And if you go through that, they accept you. Then you get the international application form that you have to write in English.
Do a lot of kids in Sweden apply?
This year, I think it was 800 students that applied.
And how many actually would be allowed to come?
100.
100.
Yes.
Well, that's some competition. You must be
Yeah.
a good student in school, too, are you?
Well, it's not. They don't go mainly after the grades. It has a little to do with that too, but they want you to be open-minded and.
Are you open-minded?
Sure.
Well, that's right. If you're from Sweden, you have to be. Isn't that where that filmmaker, what's his name, the famous Swedish filmmaker?
Ingmar Bergman.
Yeah, he's pretty open-minded.
Yes.
Yeah, his films are pretty, in fact, they're a little on the porno side, right?
Yeah, maybe.
But you don't think so? Did you ever see one of his films?
I've seen some of his films.
Is he popular in Sweden?
I don't like him, if I should be personal. I don't like his films. Sometimes, if you're in the right mood, I can like them, but.
He's probably the best-known Swedish movie person in America, next to Ingmar
Bergman, yes.
Bergman. Is she still popular in Sweden? Do people talk about her?
Everybody know who she is, and they like her. Yes.
And she was sort of the first Swede to popularize Sweden
Yes, I
in
think
America.
so. Hmm.
How big a country is Sweden?
8 million inhabitants.
8 million.
Yes.
That's not too large, is it?
It's not too large, no.
And what's the main industry and what is the geography of Sweden like?
Cars.
Cars?
Volvo,
Volvo,
and Saab are
Saab?
big. And we also have ship industry.
Fishing?
No, ships.
Building ships.
Oh yeah, building ships, yes.
And what else? Farming?
Farming,
What
yes.
type of farming would they do there?
Oh, I don't know what it's called in English.
You know what they raise?
No,
You don't know what kind of, is it wheat?
I don't know what wheat is.
You don't know what wheat is.
Sorry.
That's what they make bread out of.
Yes,
They do that.
yes, we do that.
Okay. Now, what town do you come from in Sweden?
I live on a small island.
You live on an island?
Yes.
That's everybody's dream, is to live on an island.
Perhaps, I love it.
What's the name of the island?
Gotland,
Gotland?
yes.
And where's that located?
Between Finland and Sweden, but it's closer to Sweden.
How many people on your island?
55,000.
55. That's a pretty big island.
I think it is.
And what's the main occupation there? What do most people do for a living there?
Farming, fishing. We have sheep, a lot of sheep.
So it's a quiet thing compared to maybe Stockholm.
Yes,
Have you been to Stockholm?
I have. Yes, I got relatives there.
How far would it be from your town to Stockholm?
It takes about 45 minutes by plane and 5 hours with a ferry.
With the boat going
Yes.
through. And can you take a highway? Is there a highway? Can you come over to the mainland?
No.
And that's the only two ways.
Yeah,
that you
there's
can-
no bridge between the mainland and Gotland.
So, when you decided to come here, you took the test, and
Yeah.
you knocked out 800 young people, or at least 700. And then what happened to you?
Then I wrote this international thing, yes, and...
In
then-
English.
Yes, in English.
Was that hard?
That was hard. I used the dictionary a lot.
Did you?
Yes.
What did you have to say? What would you say in something?
Oh, they asked you questions like, why do you want to go over, and
What did you say? Did you see the hamburgers?
no, I didn't.
Taste the hamburgers?
No. We have hamburgers in Sweden too.
Do you? McDonald's?
Yes.
Are they like they are here?
Yeah.
Same thing, eh?
Yes, pretty much the same.
Kids like them there?
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't come to see our hamburgers.
No, I didn't really.
So what else did you?
I want to see how your culture is and how you live, how a normal American lives his life.
Ah, and what have you found? Have you found what a normal American is?
Yes, I think so.
What are we? Tell us how you see
You
it.
are pretty much the same as normal Swedes are.
You mean
I'd
people
say.
are people?
Yeah, people are people wherever you come from.
What is the school day like in Sweden?
In Sweden, yes, in Sweden we don't have as many activities going around connected with the school as here. Here the school spirit is very high,
Mhm.
and you have, whenever your team, a football team or something is playing, all people are all clapping their hands.
They're all
and-
excited, right?
Yes.
Gung-ho is the term we use.
Uh-huh, gung-ho, okay. But it's not the same at all. But where I live, it's only one high school.
I see. So you
So we
know
don't
everybody
have
in town, right?
Yeah, I could say not all.
How
not
many
all of them,
students would be in your high school?
1,200 about.
Okay, that's a big high school. It's about the size of the school
Yes,
you're going to now,
yes.
Dearborn High. Now, what type of classes? What's mandatory? What do you have to take in Sweden?
Oh, the school system is so different because you can never choose your own schedule as you can do here.
You have no electives.
No, you have some few elections. You can choose between art and music. And when you go up higher, you can choose between the languages.
I see. Now you say languages.
Yes.
You mean you have to take other languages?
I don't have to. I have to take English. That's required.
Everybody has to take
Everybody
English.
have to take English, yes.
I think that's a good idea.
I think that's a great idea, yes.
But isn't that maybe polluting the Swedish culture by having everybody learn English?
No, I think it just opens up our views to all the other countries in the world, makes us able to communicate.
How do you visualize the school day, the actual classes, in other words, the way they're run in Sweden versus how they're run in the United States as you found them?
Oh, it's the same. I think
Teachers can be grumpy and nice.
there are nice teachers and there are bad teachers. I have them in Sweden, I have them here.
You do? You mean you have some bad teachers in Dearborn?
Not really bad teachers, but that I
Watch
like
yourself.
less.
You haven't got your report card yet, have you?
The first one I have had, yes.
Did you do well?
Yes.
As well as you did in Sweden?
No.
Do you think that's the language difficulty?
Yes, and I've only been here for 4 months. You can't expect to.
Oh, I expect you to be perfect in 4 months.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
No, that's a slang term. I don't think so. What's the best thing about America?
All your possibilities to do what you want to.
Freedom?
Yes, you have so many things to choose between, and they're easy to find.
For instance, what things are you talking about? I mean,
Well, just this local TV show, you would never find that. We don't have cable in Sweden.
You
for
don't?
instance, no.
How many television stations do you have in your town?
2.
You have 2, so you
Yes.
have 2 channels that you can
Yes.
choose, and that's it.
That's it.
Here we have 56 channels that you can choose from. How many radio stations?
3.
How many?
3.
You have 3 radio
Yes.
stations. Do they have a station that just plays rock and roll for the
No.
kids?
They have one station that plays sort of younger music, but that's still not what I would like to hear. And they have one station that usually play classical music and talking shows and things
I
like
see.
that.
And so you're limited.
Very limited.
So what do you do for entertainment then, for kids when they're out of school? What do they do?
You go to parties and
They party a lot.
yeah, and go out and dance.
You remember you got very upset when I showed a movie, a TV movie in my
Yes.
class that had been produced by, I forget, was it the German?
I think it was German.
It
Yeah,
was
West
German television.
Yeah.
About Sweden. And it showed Swedish teenagers, and they claimed that there was an awful lot of drinking.
Yes, I was
And you got very
upset.
upset. You mean there's no student drinking in...
Of course there's student drinking, but you find that everywhere. You find it here too. I hear that all the time. Oh, we had such a great time last weekend. And I mean, it's just, they showed it as if the only thing you do is drinking, and you do it all the time and wherever you go. That's not true.
Well, the movie that we were showing was purporting to show that they have some problems in socialism, that your country is a socialistic state, right?
Yes.
And has been for many years. And many people think it is the ultimate in socialism, where everybody is taken care of from birth until death, right? And yet that movie was purporting to show that there's some problems in socialism heaven.
Well, you have problems too. You can't say that, because there are a lot of people that are non-drinkers.
So you don't think that TV accurately portrays Sweden?
No, that's the media we're talking about. The media is making up your point of view without you knowing it.
Did you ever see any media productions in Sweden that purported to show America?
Yes, we have American shows all the time, and I see it without thinking about it, and I thought, oh, this is how life is in America.
And what did you find out?
Well, it's not.
It's different.
Yeah.
So it works both ways, that the
Yes.
media in Sweden can misrepresent America as we,
Sure.
and Americans as we really are,
Yeah.
and it works the opposite way with German television and the ideas in America. See, in America we have an idea that you're the porno capital of the world, right? A lot of people, do kids kid you about that?
No. I've heard it, yes.
That it's porno magazine.
They want to ask me, but they don't. They just kind of...
And is it common? Is porno common in Sweden?
What do you mean with porno?
Well, porno magazines and movies.
You can go and buy porno magazines in a store, yes, and you can go and see porno movies if you
At
want
any
to.
age?
No, you have to be 15
15.
to go to a movie, but you can buy the magazine whenever you want to.
I see. How about drinking? How old do you have to be to drink in Sweden?
I can go to a restaurant and drink when I'm 18,
I see.
but to buy it, I have to be 21.
So it's much similar,
Yeah.
practically the same thing here,
Yes.
except that you can't really get a drink in a restaurant even until you're 21 now.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say was the biggest surprise about our country, Gunilla?
Oh, I've heard that people were friendly, so friendly, and I thought, well, why should they be more friendly than in Sweden? But then I found out when I came that people really care. They want to know and they want to help you, and they're
Yeah?
interested. Yes,
You feel good about it?
I do.
Excuse me. Would you come back? Would you ever think about coming back to America to live?
I don't think I would come back to live, no.
Why not?
Because I'm used to live on this island, not too many people, an old town, and I like it very much. I like to go to a big city to visit for a while, but...
Still, home is home.
Yes, home is home.
No matter where.
Yeah.
Have your parents ever been here?
My father were here 2 years ago.
I see. How about, do you have brothers and sisters?
I got a half-brother, but he has never been over, no.
Do you think he would like to come here?
I think he would.
Would you recommend to people in Sweden that they ought to come to America?
I think I would.
What about Dearborn, Michigan? What's the one thing that you've noticed most about us here in Dearborn?
It's a nice little town.
It's a little town, too?
Yes. It's a lot of things to do and a lot of friendly people.
Is the boy-girl thing different in Sweden than it is here? I mean, we go out on a date. Do you find American boys are different than Swedish boys?
Yes, it's more formal here. Formal here, yes.
You're kidding. What do you mean by formal?
I mean that whenever you're talking about the boy, you want to date him first and go to a restaurant, go to a movie before you can, what I've understood, go home to his house and just do homework together or whatever. It's more formal. I don't know.
In other words, in Sweden, if a boy wanted to ask you out, he'd just call you or ask you, well, let's go out, or come on over to my house and do homework. Here, you have to be introduced.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been out on a date here?
Yes.
Was it fun? What'd you do?
Yes. I've been at the play, and I've also been out eating.
Did the boy kiss you on the first date? Can I ask that? That's a very personal question. You don't have to answer it.
He asked me if he could kiss me.
He asked you?
Yes.
In Sweden, would they ask?
Oh, it depends, yes.
Some boys would.
It depends how well you know the guy that you're going together with.
Gunilla, it's been fun talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
I have you in class, and you're a delight. Except I want to know, why do you always come in tardy?
You know why I come in tardy.
No, I tell my audience. I know, but they don't know.
I take a German class at the U of M 3 times a week, and that's...
The time. There's a conflict there with time, so you always come.
I asked him if I could come in later 3 times a week, and he said yes, of course.
And do I give you good marks?
Yes, I'm satisfied. Could be better, but...
I see. Am I a good or a bad teacher? Now, be honest.
Yeah, you're both, I think.
There are times I'm good and there are times I'm bad.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Gunilla, thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you.
And come back again, okay? Listen, we're going to take some time out for some commercials, and then we'll be right back. Well, back again. Gee, she's a neat young person, isn't she? A lot of the foreign exchange students that we've had visit us over the years as I've been a teacher have always been super kids. I can only think of one fella, and he was from South America someplace, and evidently in South America, they are more romantically inclined. And we had a little bit few along those lines with, I believe that was Junior. But a delightful kid he was, but he really liked the ladies. Well, what are you going to do? That's called growing up in America or Brazil, whatever it is. Hey, if you'd like a letter here, please do so by saying, dropping a card to Russ Gibb at random, Group W Cable, Mercantile Drive, Dearborn, Michigan. And then you can let me know what you'd like to see on the show or what you'd like me to talk about, or if you'd like to disagree. Here's your opportunity to do it. For those of you that took the time today to view the show, I'd like to say thank you. For those of you that took the time to drop me a card or letter, thank you. But most of all, I'd like to thank you for just being you. Russ Gibb at random.